Donut SMP's border expansion could be happening in just 4 days, and if this theory is correct, you could be sitting on items that are about to lose millions or even billions in value. If you type /NE in Donut SMP, you get the night vision effect, but if you look closely at the duration of the effect, you'll see the number 29826. Now, this isn't just a random number, it represents August 29th of 2026. Which means if this theory is correct, Donut SMP's border expansion could happen on August 29th, in just 4 days from now. And if you're playing Donut SMP right now, there are a few things you should probably do before it's too late. First, I would start by selling your items that originally came from /shop. Things like totems, crystals, and other /shop items that could become much less valuable. Why? Because a larger border means that players will have access to massive amounts of new land, and with that land, players will be able to build farms in areas that are much harder to be raided. So if you're holding onto a huge stockpile of these items, expecting their price to keep going up, this might be a good time to consider selling them. The second thing I'd consider selling is your rare items. Things like gilded blackstone, elytras, mob heads, and other items that are difficult to obtain right now. Because right now, a lot of these items are only valuable because they are very hard to obtain. But after the border, players will have significantly more space to search for these items. And if this supply suddenly skyrockets, the prices will absolutely crash. This is probably the biggest things I'm worried about right now. Spawners. If players are able to build large-scale mob farms in new areas, the demand for spawners could drastically fall. Because why spend millions on a spawner when you can just build a farm that produces the same amount of items? And once thousands of players start doing this, we are going to have a massive increase in supply, which should cause spawner prices to drop extremely quickly. So personally, I wouldn't want to be holding onto a huge amount of spawners. But here's what gets interesting. If these items become cheaper because everyone can produce them, what's actually going to be the best way to make money after the expansion? In my opinion, it's going to be fully AFKable farms. Not just any farms, I'm talking about farms where almost zero player input. For example, cobblestone farms, sugarcane farms, or other automatic farms. Imagine just building a big farm and just connecting to an auto sell system. You could potentially have the farm generating millions of dollars per hour and run it for days or even weeks without having to do anything. And if the border expansion gives players enough space to build these massive farms without getting raided, we're going to see some of the best money making methods Donut SMP has ever seen. But one thing I'm almost certain we will see after this update is inflation. If players suddenly have access to huge farms producing lots of resources, the amount of money and items entering the economy is going to increase drastically. This means that some items could become incredibly cheap while others become very difficult to automate. And that's what makes the border expansion so interesting. We're not just getting more land, we're getting potentially a new Donut SMP economy. So, in conclusion, if the night vision theory is correct, we could be 4 days away from one of the biggest changes Donut SMP has ever seen. If you have rare items, shop items, or a ton of spawners, now would be the perfect time to start selling them. And if you're trying to make money after the expansion, I'd suggest building a fully AFKable farm. Because once the border opens, the Donut SMP economy could enter an entirely new era.